sorry.
Pack your things and get out.
The text message arrived at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. We need to talk about us. I think we should try an open relationship. I stared at my phone screen in the darkness of our bedroom, Lili asleep beside me, her back turned. The blue light made everything feel cold and distant. 3 years together. And now this. The message sat there like a bomb that hadn't quite detonated yet. I didn't respond. Instead, I lay there, my mind racing through the past few weeks since she'd returned from her lake vacation with Mia and Grace. Something had shifted in her. The way she touched her phone constantly, the distant look in her eyes during dinner, the perfume that smelled different, more expensive than anything I'd bought her. The way she flinched when I touched her shoulder unexpectedly, like she'd been caught doing something wrong. I'm a systems administrator. I solve problems by breaking them down into logical components, finding patterns in data, identifying anomalies. My girlfriend was an anomaly now. The next morning, I made coffee while she showered. When she emerged, hair wrapped in a towel, I handed her a mug. "So, open relationship?" I said, keeping my voice neutral. She nearly dropped the coffee. "You saw my message." Hard to miss. "Natan, I just think we've been together so long. Maybe we should explore." "Who is he?" Her face went pale. "What?" "The guy from the lake." "Who is he?" "There's no guy. I just think we need space to grow as individuals." The words sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced them in the shower while I made breakfast. I nodded slowly. "Sure. Let's talk about it later. I've got to get to work." The kiss she gave me felt like a stranger's lips against my cheek. At the office, I couldn't concentrate. My colleague Tom noticed me staring at my monitor without actually working, just watching the cursor blink. "You good, man?" he asked, rolling his chair over to my cubicle. "Lili wants an open relationship." He winced. "That's never about wanting an open relationship." "I know." "You gonna let her walk all over you?" I thought about that. The old Natan would have. The Natan who avoided confrontation, who valued peace over truth, who convinced himself that being accommodating was the same as being strong. But something hardened inside me that morning, like metal cooling after being forged. "No," I said, "I'm not." That evening, I waited until Lili went to meet Mia for dinner. Then I picked up her iPad, the one she forgot she'd synced to her iCloud account, the one that received all her iPhone messages automatically. I found them immediately. Hundreds of messages to someone named Brian. The messages started in early July, right when she'd been at the lake. "Last night was amazing. I've never felt this way before. I can't stop thinking about you. About us. Natan texted, but I was thinking about your hands on me. I feel so alive when I'm with you. Like I'm finally the person I was meant to be." My chest tightened. I kept reading, my hands shaking slightly. "When are you coming back to town? I miss you so much." "Soon, babe. This job ends next week. Then we can be together properly." I don't know how to tell Natan. He'll be so hurt. "He'll get over it. People always do. You deserve to be happy." I screenshot everything, methodically, saving them to a secure folder with a password only I knew. The messages showed Brian worked at the lake's recreation center, renting kayaks and paddleboards to tourists. There were photos everywhere. Him shirtless on a dock, tanned and muscular. Her in a bikini, his arm around her waist possessively. Mia and Grace in the background with 2 other guys, everyone laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. The most recent message was from this morning, sent while I was making her coffee. "Brian's back in town tomorrow. I can't wait to see you. Finally." "Me too. I've been counting down the days." "What are you going to tell Natan?" "I'm going to ask for an open relationship first. See how he reacts. Maybe he'll be okay with it. And if he's not, then I'll figure something out, don't worry." I heard her key in the lock. I closed the iPad quickly, put it back exactly where I'd found it, and met her at the door with a smile. "How was dinner?" I asked. "Good. Mia says hi." She wouldn't meet my eyes. "That's nice. I ordered Thai food for us. Your favorite." She looked surprised. "Thank you. That's sweet." That night, I lay awake planning while she slept peacefully beside me. Violence wasn't my style, and prison definitely wasn't on my agenda. But I knew systems. I knew how to find vulnerabilities and exploit them. Brian had made himself vulnerable the moment he got involved with my girlfriend. Now I just needed to find the exact pressure points. The next few days were strange. Lili kept bringing up the open relationship idea, testing the waters, trying to gauge my reaction. Each time, I deflected with non-committal responses. "I need to think about it," I'd say, or "let's not rush into anything major." She seemed relieved by my hesitation, interpreting it as weakness or confusion. She thought she had time to figure things out, to keep both of us on the line while she decided which options suited her better. She didn't realize I was buying time to gather more information. Meanwhile, I continued my research. Brian lived in a duplex on Riverside Avenue, Unit B. He drove a blue Honda Civic 2018 model. He liked craft beer, expensive Nike sneakers, and posting gym selfies on Instagram. He worked at Murphy's Auto Shop during the off-season from his lake job, doing oil changes and tire rotations. His social media showed a guy who thought he was God's gift to women, commenting on photos with fire emojis and calling everyone bro. On Thursday evening, Lili announced she needed to work late on a project. "No problem," I said. "I'll order pizza and watch the game." The moment she left, I followed her in my car, staying 3 vehicles back. She drove straight to Riverside Avenue, parked in front of Brian's duplex, and let herself in with a key she produced from her purse. I sat in my car down the street, documenting the time, taking photos of her car in his driveway with my phone. Professional, clinical, detached. She emerged 3 hours later, hair messier than when she'd arrived, lipstick completely gone, her blouse buttoned wrong. She drove home while I circled back through side streets, arriving at our apartment 5 minutes before her. When she walked in, I was on the couch watching television like I'd been there all evening. "How was work?" I asked casually. "Exhausting," she said, and the lie came so easily to her that I wondered how many times she'd done this before. How many late nights had actually been with him. "You should take a hot bath. Relax." "That sounds perfect. You're so thoughtful." She kissed the top of my head, and I had to resist the urge to pull away. That weekend, she told me she needed to visit her sister in Portland for a couple days to help her move some furniture. "Tell her I said hi," I replied, helping her pack her overnight bag. Her sister lived in Seattle, not Portland, a detail she'd apparently forgotten in the rush to create her cover story. The moment her car disappeared around the corner, I went to work. Brian's Civic sat in the parking lot behind his duplex, just as I'd expected. The lot was poorly lit, no security cameras visible anywhere, just opportunity waiting for someone to take it. I wore gloves I'd bought with cash at a hardware store 2 towns over, along with a baseball cap and a jacket I'd picked up at Goodwill. Nothing traceable, nothing I'd ever wear again. I'd spent hours researching at the public library on their computers, watching videos, learning techniques. The brake fluid and paint thinner mixture I'd prepared in a plastic bottle ate through the clear coat on his hood within seconds, bubbling the paint into an ugly, blistered mess that spread like a disease. I poured it carefully, creating maximum damage with minimal evidence. Then I moved to his tires. I didn't slash them. Too obvious. Too violent. Instead, I loosened his valve stems with a valve core remover, just enough to cause a slow leak that would leave him stranded, but wouldn't look like sabotage at first glance. All 4 tires. The whole operation took less than 20 minutes. I was back in my car, driving to the other side of town where I disposed of the gloves, bottle, hat, and jacket in a dumpster behind a shopping center that was scheduled for demolition. Everything gone. everything clean. When Lili returned Sunday evening with stories about helping her sister, I greeted her with wine and homemade pasta. "How was your sister?" I asked, pouring her a glass. "Good. She's thinking about getting a cat, maybe 2. "That's nice. She always loved animals." She relaxed, settling into the lie. "Yeah, she's excited about it." "I made your favorite," I said, gesturing to the pasta. "Carbonara. You're amazing. I don't know what I did to deserve you." I sipped my wine, watching her over the rim of the glass. "Hey, remember when we talked about the open relationship thing?" She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. "Yeah? I've been thinking about it a lot, and I don't want that. I love you. I don't want anyone else. I want us to stay together, just us." The relief on her face was almost comical. She thought I was clueless. She thought she'd gotten away with everything. "I love you too," she said, leaning across the table to kiss me with lips that had probably kissed him hours ago. "I'm so glad. I think I just got scared, you know? But you're right. What we have is special." That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I checked her iPad again. Brian had discovered his car that morning. "Some asshole destroyed my car. Paint's completely ruined. All 4 tires are flat. This is going to cost me over $2,000 to fix." "Oh my God, who would do that?" "I don't know, but when I find out, they're going to regret it." "Did you call the police?" "Yeah, filed a report this morning. They said it's probably random vandalism." "Random. My ass. This was targeted." "Why would someone target you?" "I don't know. Maybe someone from work? Or maybe..." "Maybe what? Does Natan know about us?" "No way. He's completely clueless. Trust me." "You sure? Because the timing is suspicious as hell." "I'm sure. He's acting totally normal. He even made me dinner tonight and said he doesn't want an open relationship, just wants us to stay together." "He actually said that?" "Yeah. He has no idea about anything." "I hope you're right. Because if he does know, this could get ugly." I smiled in the darkness, setting the iPad aside. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched Brian's paranoia grow through Lili's messages like watching a plant grow in time-lapse. "I'm telling you, something feels off," he messaged her one evening. "You're being paranoid. It was just random vandalism." "Random vandalism doesn't cost $2,000. Someone wanted to hurt me specifically." "Who would want to hurt you?" "I don't know. That's what bothers me." The insurance company had denied his claim, determining the damage was intentional vandalism, which wasn't covered under his basic policy. He'd had to pay for all the repairs out of pocket, plus the towing fees. His messages showed increasing financial stress. "I can barely make rent this month after that car bullshit." "I'm sorry, baby. I wish I could help." "Unless you want to tell your boyfriend to cut you a check." He added a laughing emoji, but the bitterness came through. "That's not funny." "I'm just saying if he's so great, maybe he can help his girlfriend out." "I can't ask him for money. That would be weird." Everything about this situation is weird. Meanwhile, I continued playing the perfect boyfriend. I took Lili to her favorite Italian restaurant on Friday night, brought her coffee in bed every Saturday morning, exactly how she liked it with almond milk and cinnamon, asked about her day, and listened with apparently genuine interest as she lied directly to my face about where she'd been and who she'd seen. "Work's been so stressful lately," she said one evening, curled up on the couch beside me. "My boss is demanding, and the deadlines are crazy." "I'm sorry. Anything I can do to help make it easier?" She actually teared up at that. "You're so good to me, Natan. Sometimes I wonder if I appreciate you enough." "Don't say that," I replied, pulling her into a hug while staring at the wall over her shoulder. "You're going through a tough time. That's what I'm here for." But she was right. She didn't appreciate me. She didn't appreciate anyone who gave her stability and trust. On Wednesday, I implemented Phase 2. I'd created a fake Facebook profile 3 weeks earlier, a woman named Ashley Martinez with a profile picture stolen from an Instagram model who had thousands of followers. I'd slowly built up the profile with shared posts, liked pages, joined groups, made it look real. Brian had accepted the friend request within an hour, just like I knew he would. Men like Brian always accepted friend requests from attractive women, no questions asked. Now I sent him a message through Ashley's account from a prepaid phone I'd bought with cash. "Hey, saw you at the Anchor last week. You're really cute. Want to buy you a drink sometime?" He replied within 30 seconds. "Thanks. Yeah, I remember seeing you there. You were wearing that blue dress, right?" I had no idea what women at the Anchor wore, but I played along. "Maybe. You going to be there Friday night?" "I could be. Are you asking me out?" "Maybe I am. Around 9? I'll be there. How will I find you?" "I'll find you. Trust me." Friday evening, I told Lili I was having drinks with Tom and some guys from work. She seemed relieved, probably because it gave her a chance to see Brian without making up an elaborate excuse. I arrived at the Anchor at 8:30, parking across the street where I had a clear view of the entrance. Brian and Lili showed up together at 8:45, her looking beautiful in a red dress, him with his arm around her waist possessively. They settled at a table near the window. Perfect. At exactly 9:00 p.m., I sent Brian another message from Ashley's account. "I'm here, near the back, wearing a green dress. Can't wait to meet you." I watched through the window as he checked his phone, showed it to Lili, and said something that made her frown. Then he stood up, squeezed her shoulder, and headed toward the back of the bar. For the next 20 minutes, I watched him search the entire bar for a woman in a green dress who didn't exist. He asked the bartender. He walked through every section twice. He even checked the patio area outside. When he finally returned to their table, Lili was furious. Even from across the street, I could see her animated gestures, the way she threw her napkin on the table. "You just left me here to chase some random woman?" Her voice carried through the window, loud enough for nearby tables to turn and stare. "I thought, she messaged me, she said she was here. You thought you'd pick up another girl while I'm sitting right here waiting for you?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Brian? Explain it to me." "She's a friend from Facebook. She said she wanted to meet up." "So you ditched me to meet some Facebook friend you've never actually met? That's so much better." "You're overreacting." "I'm overreacting. I got dressed up. I'm sitting here alone while you hunt through the bar for another woman, and I'm overreacting." Their argument escalated quickly. Her standing up, grabbing her purse. Him following her outside, trying to explain, reaching for her arm. Her shoving him away, not hard, but enough to make him stumble slightly. Him grabbing her wrist, not violently, just trying to get her to stop and listen. The patrol car I'd called in for a noise complaint from a payphone 2 blocks away, timing it perfectly, arrived at precisely that moment as I'd planned it to. The officers separated them immediately, took statements from both. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I watched Brian's body language change from defensive to worried as one officer spoke to him seriously, pointing at where he'd grabbed Lili's wrist. No arrests were made, just warnings and a permanent record of a domestic disturbance attached to Brian's name, but the real damage was already done. I watched from my car across the street as Lili got into an Uber, leaving Brian standing alone on the sidewalk looking confused and angry, his perfect evening completely destroyed. I drove home, arriving 20 minutes before Lili's Uber dropped her off. When she walked in, I was on the couch in sweats, beer in hand, watching a game. "You're home early," I said. "How was your evening?" "Fine. Just tired. Going to bed." She disappeared into the bedroom without another word. Brian's messages to Lili turned accusatory after that night, the tone shifting from affectionate to bitter. "This is all your fault. Ever since we started up again after the summer, everything's gone to complete shit. How is any of this my fault? You're the one who went looking for another woman." "She messaged me first. I thought it was real. How is that my fault? It's your fault for leaving me alone at the table to chase after her. I was gone for 20 minutes. 20 minutes where I sat alone like an idiot while you searched for your Facebook fantasy. You're being dramatic. And you're being an asshole. The cops thought you were abusing me. I grabbed your wrist to get you to stop and listen. That's not abuse. Tell that to the police report. I watched their relationship deteriorate in real time through the synced iPad, and it was beautiful in its inevitability, like watching a controlled demolition, where everything falls exactly as planned. Meanwhile, I continued my role as the perfect boyfriend. I took Lili to a concert she'd mentioned wanting to see, bought the tickets weeks in advance, surprised her with her favorite takeout when she said she was too tired to cook, left little notes around the apartment telling her how much I appreciated her. "You're being so sweet lately," she said one evening, looking at me with something like guilt in her eyes. "Just reminding you how much you mean to me," I replied with a smile. She looked away. "I don't deserve you. Everyone has moments of doubt. I'm just making sure you know you're valued." But behind my smile, I was planning the next move. The final push came 3 weeks after the bar incident. Brian had been drinking more, his messages showed, getting progressively angrier with each passing day. He was upset about losing a promised gig at the lake for next summer. The management had found out about his police incident and decided not to rehire him. He was upset about his car expenses draining his savings. He was upset about the bar incident embarrassing him. He was upset that his life wasn't working out the way he'd imagined it would. "We need to talk," he messaged Lili on a Thursday evening. The message had an edge to it, different from his usual casual tone. "About what?" "About us. About him. About all of this mess." "What do you mean?" "Just meet me at my place tomorrow after work. We need to have a serious conversation." They met at his duplex Friday evening. I wasn't there physically, but the messages afterward told me everything I needed to know about what had been said. He'd given her an ultimatum: leave Natan by the end of the month, or they were done. She'd panicked. "I need time to figure things out. It's not that simple." "You've had 4 months since the lake. How much more time do you need?" "We have an apartment together, shared bills. His name is on everything." "So you're choosing him?" "I'm not choosing anyone right now. I'm just saying I need time to handle this properly." "Handle it properly? You mean string us both along as possible?" "That's not fair. What's not fair is me waiting around while you play house with your boyfriend. Either you're in this with me or you're not. Choose." "It's not about choosing. It's about being practical." "Then be practical about this. I'm done being your secret. I'm done being the guy you see when he's not looking. Either you're with me or we're finished." She'd left without answering, and the messages afterward showed her completely spiraling into panic mode. "I don't know what to do." "So choose. It's not complicated." "Everything is complicated. You don't understand." "I understand you want to have your cake and eat it too, but I'm not playing that game anymore. Can we just talk about this when you've calmed down?" "I'm perfectly calm. This is me being rational. I want a real relationship, not whatever this is. Just give me until the end of the month." "The end of the month? So you can keep sleeping with both of us while you decide?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Lili? Explain it to me." She didn't respond to that message, or the next 3 he sent over the following days. I waited exactly 2 days after their fight before making my final move. I found Lili crying in the bathroom on a Tuesday evening. She'd been in there for nearly an hour, and I could hear her soft sobs even through the closed door, muffled but unmistakable. I knocked gently. "Lili, you okay in there?" "I'm fine." Her voice was thick with tears, congested. "You don't sound fine. Can I help with anything?" Long silence. Then, "Can you come in?" She sat on the edge of the bathtub, mascara running down her cheeks in black streams, her eyes red and swollen. She looked genuinely broken, and for a brief moment I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. "What happened?" I asked, sitting beside her on the tub's edge, close but not touching. "I think—" She paused, struggling with the words. "I think we need to break up." My heart should have broken right then. Instead, I felt nothing but cold, calculated satisfaction, like a chess player watching their opponent finally recognize checkmate. "Why would you say that?" "Because I'm a terrible person. Because you deserve so much better than me. Because I've done things—" She trailed off, crying harder. "Did you cheat on me?" She looked up at me, startled, eyes wide with shock. "What?" "It's a simple question, Lili. Did you cheat on me? Yes or no?" The silence stretched between us like a chasm opening up. Finally, she nodded, tears flowing harder now, her whole body shaking. "With Brian? The guy from the lake? How long have you—" "Your iPad syncs to your iCloud account. I've known for weeks. Actually, I've known since early September." Her face went completely white, all the blood draining from it. "Weeks? You've known for weeks and didn't say anything?" I stood up slowly, looking down at her. "I know about the vacation where you met him. I know about every message you've sent him. I know about the key to his apartment he gave you. I know about the fake trip to Portland when you said you were visiting your sister who actually lives in Seattle. I know about every lie you've told me for the past 4 months. Natan, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It just happened." "Did he break up with you?" She blinked, confused by the change of subject. "What? Brian, did he break up with you? Is that why you're suddenly ready to confess everything?" Her expression confirmed what I already knew. The timeline made perfect sense now. I laughed, a hollow sound that echoed off the bathroom tiles. "You were going to keep lying to me indefinitely. You had no plans to come clean. But he dumped you, gave you an ultimatum you couldn't meet, so now I'm the fallback option. The safe choice, the guy with the apartment and the steady job. It's not like that. Get out." "What?" "Pack your things and get out of my apartment. You have until Sunday evening to find a place to stay. After that, anything you leave here goes to the curb." "But the apartment is in my name only. You're not on the lease. You never wanted to be on the lease, remember? Too much commitment. Check the paperwork if you don't believe me." She did believe me. She'd never bothered with those boring administrative details, always letting me handle the paperwork while she lived her life carefree. "Natan, please, can we just talk about this like adults?" "No, we're done talking. We're done with everything. I want you out." I left her sitting there on the bathtub edge and went to the living room, where I poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon and waited for whatever came next. She tried for 3 days straight. Apologies, explanations, promises to change, tears, anger, bargaining, the full cycle of desperation. I ignored all of it, treating her like a roommate I barely knew, acknowledging her presence, but offering nothing more. "I made a mistake," she said on Friday morning. "You made a choice," I replied without looking up from my coffee. "Can't you forgive me? People make mistakes. Mistakes are accidents. You chose him repeatedly for 4 months. That's not a mistake. That's a decision." When Sunday evening arrived, she'd packed most of her belongings into suitcases and boxes. Mia showed up with her car to help move everything out. "I'm sorry," Mia said to me quietly, while Lili was in the bedroom gathering the last of her things. "You should be. You knew and said nothing. She's my friend. And I'm a person who deserved honesty. You chose wrong." Mia looked away, unable to meet my eyes. The apartment felt emptier after they left, but cleaner somehow, like I'd removed a source of contamination that had been slowly poisoning the air. On Monday morning, I got a text from an unknown number. "This is Brian. We need to talk man to man." I deleted it without responding. He called twice during my lunch break. I didn't answer either time. On Wednesday evening, He showed up at my office building, waiting by my car in the parking garage at the end of the workday. He must have looked up my employer online. "We need to talk," he said as I approached, stepping out from between two cars. "No, we don't," I replied calmly, unlocking my car with the key fob. "Look, man, I know you're pissed, but you don't know anything about me." I opened the car door. "Did you fuck up my car back in September?" I looked at him directly, meeting his eyes without flinching. "Prove it." "I can't prove it, but I know it was you. The timing was too perfect." "Then I guess you don't actually know anything. You suspect. There's a difference." I started to get in. He grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. Big mistake. I didn't panic. I didn't fight back. I simply looked at his hand on my arm, then slowly back up at his face, my expression completely neutral. "Remove your hand right now, or I call the police and file an assault charge. There are cameras all over this garage recording us right now. Your choice." He let go immediately, taking a step back, his confidence faltering. "You think you won something here?" he said, trying to regain his composure. "She's miserable. You're obviously miserable. Nobody won anything." I got in my car and looked up at him through the open door. "You're wrong about that. I won the moment I stopped being the kind of guy who lets people disrespect him and get away with it." I closed the door, started the engine, and drove away, leaving him standing alone in the dim parking garage. In my rearview mirror, I watched him get smaller and smaller until he disappeared completely. 3 weeks passed in a strange blur of work and adjusting to living alone again. The apartment felt different without Lili's things scattered everywhere, without her constant presence filling the space with noise and movement. Different, but better. Cleaner, more honest. Mine. I deep-cleaned everything, erasing every trace of her. I rearranged the furniture, making the space truly my own for the first time since we'd moved in together. I bought new sheets, new towels, new kitchen supplies. Everything fresh, everything untainted. Tom took me out for drinks on a Friday night to celebrate my newfound freedom. "You doing okay?" he asked over beers at a sports bar downtown. "Getting there? Taking it day by day." "Has she tried to come back?" "Twice. Showed up at the door crying both times. I didn't answer. Just watched through the peephole until she left." "And Brian?" "Haven't heard from him since the parking garage confrontation. I think he finally got the message." Tom raised his glass. "To moving forward and leaving trash behind where it belongs." "I'll drink to that." The following week, I ran into Mia at the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon. She looked uncomfortable the moment she spotted me near the produce section, like she was debating whether to pretend she hadn't seen me or face the awkwardness head-on. "Natan, hi," she said finally, approaching my cart slowly. "Mia. Look, I'm really sorry about everything that happened. I should have told you what was going on at the lake. It was wrong of me to stay silent." "You should have," I agreed, selecting apples and placing them in my cart. "She's really torn up about losing you. She cries almost every night at my place. I've never seen her like this." "She should be torn up. She destroyed something real and stable for something temporary and meaningless." Mia shifted uncomfortably, moving her purse from one shoulder to the other. "For what it's worth, Brian's completely out of the picture now. He moved back to the lake area for some winter maintenance job. They haven't spoken in weeks. I don't care where he is or what he's doing. He blamed her for everything, you know. Said she ruined his life, that the car vandalism and the bar incident were all somehow her fault." Mia paused, studying my face carefully. "You wouldn't happen to know anything about those incidents, would you?" I kept my expression perfectly neutral, almost bored. "About what?" "The vandalism. The mysterious woman at the bar. It all seems very convenient timing-wise. Life is full of coincidences. Sometimes bad things happen to people who make bad choices. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting." I pushed my cart past her. "Take care of yourself, Mia." "Natan, wait." I didn't wait. I finished my shopping and left, feeling lighter with each step toward the exit. 2 months after Lili moved out, she sent me a long email. The subject line read, "Please read this. I need you to understand." I almost deleted it unread, my finger hovering over the delete button for a full minute, but curiosity got the better of me. She wrote about regret, about how she'd been searching for excitement and adventure, and found only emptiness and loss. About how Brian had been a fantasy that crumbled under the weight of reality. About how she'd taken me for granted, assumed I'd always be there no matter what she did. Never considered that there were real consequences to her actions. About how she understood now what she'd thrown away. The email went on for pages, detailing every moment of remorse, every lesson she'd supposedly learned. She didn't ask to get back together. She just wanted me to know that she understood what she'd lost, and that she was sorry. I read it twice, carefully, then saved it to a folder labeled Closure that I'd never open again. That evening, I sat on my couch with a bourbon, thinking about everything that had happened over the past few months. The discovery, the planning, the careful execution of my revenge, the aftermath. I'd acted with precision and patience, and it had worked exactly as I'd intended it to. But sitting there alone in the quiet apartment, I realized something important. The revenge had been necessary for me psychologically, to prove I wasn't helpless, but it hadn't actually healed the wound. It had just closed a door that desperately needed closing. My phone buzzed with a message from Tom. "Poker night at my place Saturday. You in?" I typed back, "Yeah, I'm in. What time?" 7 p.m. Bring beer and your wallet. I'm feeling lucky." "Will do." Life was moving forward, not because I'd won some grand victory or taught anyone an eternal lesson they'd never forget, but because I'd decided that my peace, my self-respect, my future, all of it mattered more than their chaos and drama. The next morning, I woke up without the weight of anger and betrayal pressing on my chest for the first time in months. I made coffee, opened my laptop, and started looking at new apartments in better neighborhoods, places with actual security systems and gyms, places with balconies and better views, places that represented a genuinely fresh start without any memories attached. As I got ready for work, I caught my reflection in the bathroom mirror while shaving. Same face, but different eyes. Harder eyes, wiser eyes, belonging to someone who'd learned that self-respect wasn't negotiable and that some bridges needed to burn completely. Lili and Brian had taught me that some people view relationships as games where winning means collecting the most attention while accepting the least accountability. But they'd made a critical miscalculation. They'd assumed I'd always be the passive player, the one who absorbed damage without ever retaliating. They'd been wrong about that. I didn't destroy Brian's life. He'd done that himself by being the kind of man who pursued women in relationships and blamed everyone else for his problems. I'd simply accelerated consequences that were already inevitable. And Lili? She destroyed what we had the moment she decided her temporary excitement mattered more than our permanent commitment. I'd just made sure she understood the full cost of that decision. At work, Tom stopped by my desk around mid-morning with coffee. "You hear the latest about Brian?" he asked, leaning against my cubicle wall. "What about him?" "My buddy who works at the lake resort called me last night. Apparently Brian got fired from his winter job up there. Something about inappropriate behavior with female customers. Multiple complaints." I shrugged, focusing on my computer screen. Sounds like his choices finally caught up with him. "Yeah, well, word is he's working at some gas station now on Highway 9, barely making rent on an efficiency apartment." "That's unfortunate for him." Tom studied me for a moment. "You're different now. Harder." "Not harder. Just finished being soft in a world full of sharp edges." He nodded slowly, understanding without needing more explanation. "Fair enough. You coming to poker Saturday?" "Wouldn't miss it." After he left, I sat thinking about that conversation. Brian working at a gas station, Lili living with Mia or back with her parents. both of them dealing with the consequences of their choices while I sat here in my office, salary intact, promotion coming next quarter, life moving steadily forward. I hadn't destroyed them. I'd just removed myself from their equation and let nature take its course. That evening, I came home to find another envelope taped to my door. Inside was a handwritten letter from Lili, 3 pages of carefully written apologies and regrets, and a request to meet for coffee to find closure together properly. I read the first page, then the second, then stopped halfway through the third. More of the same. More promises to be better, more explanations about how she'd gotten lost, more requests for one more chance to explain. I tore all 3 pages into small pieces and threw them in the recycling bin without finishing the letter. She wanted closure? She could find it on her own time. I'd already found mine the moment I'd stopped letting her decisions dictate my emotional state. That night, I ordered Chinese food, watched a movie I'd been wanting to see, and went to bed early. No drama, no anger, no revenge plotting. Just a quiet evening in my apartment, in my space, living my life on my terms. Saturday came and I went to Tom's poker night. 6 guys from work, beer, chips, terrible jokes, and mediocre card playing. I lost $40 and didn't care. It was good to be around people who weren't lying to me, who weren't using me, who were just there to hang out and waste a Saturday night. "You seem better," Tom said as we were cleaning up around midnight, the others having already left. "I am better. Lili still trying to contact you?" "She sent another letter. I threw it away." "Good. She made her choice. Now she gets to live with it." "Exactly." He opened 2 more beers and handed me one. "So, what's next for you?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, you've closed that chapter. What's the next one?" I thought about that, sipping my beer. I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it'll be something I choose, not something that happens to me. That's a good answer. We sat in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Then I headed home. The next few weeks settled into a routine: work, gym, occasional dinners with friends, apartment hunting on weekends. I found a place I liked in a better neighborhood. 2 bedrooms, 10th floor, view of the city, gym in the building, actual security. I put down a deposit and started planning the move. One evening, about 3 months after Lili had moved out, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello?" "Natan, it's Grace." Grace. Lili's other friend from the lake trip. I hadn't heard from her since everything fell apart. "What do you want, Grace?" I just wanted to call and apologize. I knew what was happening at the lake, and I should have told you. It wasn't right. No, it wasn't. I know it doesn't change anything now, but I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. And that Lili is really struggling. She's been living with her parents for the past month, and she's not doing well. That's not my problem anymore. I know. I just thought you should know. Why? So I'll feel guilty and take her back? No. I don't think she expects that. I just thought you deserved to know that she's paying for what she did. She's paying for her choices. There's a difference. Grace was quiet for a moment. You're right. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. You deserved better from all of us. Yeah, I did. But I've moved on. I'm glad. Take care, Natan. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there for a moment, phone in hand, thinking about that conversation. Lili struggling, living with her parents, not doing well. A year ago, that information would have torn me apart. I would have wanted to fix it, to help her, to make everything okay. Now, I felt nothing but a distant kind of pity. She'd made her choices. Now she was living with them. That wasn't cruelty on my part. That was just reality. I moved into my new apartment on a Saturday in late November. Tom and a couple other guys from work helped me move the furniture. It took most of the day, but by evening, everything was in place. "This is a nice place," Tom said, standing at the windows looking out at the city lights. Good upgrade. Fresh start, I replied, opening beers for everyone. To fresh starts, Tom raised his bottle. To fresh starts, we all echoed. After everyone left, I stood alone in my new living room, boxes still unpacked, furniture not quite arranged right, but it was mine. All mine. No shared memories, no ghosts of a failed relationship, just empty space waiting to be filled with whatever I chose. I thought about Lili one last time. Wondered where she was right now, what she was doing, whether she was thinking about me too. Then I let that thought go, released it into the night air, and focused on unpacking my life. The next morning, Sunday, I woke up to sunlight streaming through windows that faced east, something I'd specifically wanted in the new place. I made coffee in my new kitchen, stood at my new windows, and looked out at my new view of the city. Somewhere out there, Lili was waking up in her childhood bedroom, trying to figure out how to rebuild her life. Somewhere out there, Brian was probably getting ready for another shift at a job he hated, wondering how everything had gone so wrong. But I was here, in my new apartment, in my new life, and I had won. Not because I'd destroyed them, but because I'd refused to let their betrayal destroy me. I raised my coffee mug toward the window, a silent toast to the man I'd become, someone who knew his worth, who set boundaries and enforced them, who walked away from people who didn't value him. The old Natan would have forgiven Lili, would have taken her back, convinced himself that love meant accepting anything. The old Natan would have blamed himself somehow, would have wondered what he'd done wrong to make her cheat, but that Natan was gone, burned away in the fire of betrayal and revenge. This Natan knew better. This Natan understood that some people would take everything you offered and still ask for more. This Natan had learned to protect himself first. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hey, this is Sarah from the coffee shop downstairs. You moved in yesterday, right? Welcome to the building. I stared at the message for a moment. Someone new, someone who didn't know my story, didn't have any connection to my past, someone who was just being friendly. I typed back, thanks. Yeah, just moved in, still getting settled. Let me know if you need any recommendations for the neighborhood. I've been here 3 years. I will. Thanks. I set the phone down and smiled. Life moving forward. New apartment, new neighborhood, new people. The past was the past, and it was staying there. I spent the rest of Sunday unpacking boxes, arranging furniture, making the space mine. Every item I put away felt like another step away from who I'd been and toward who I was becoming. By evening, the apartment was mostly set up. I ordered pizza, poured myself a bourbon, and sat on my couch looking around at my new space. It felt right, it felt clean, it felt like freedom. My phone buzzed again. Tom, how's the new place? Good, really good. You sound different, lighter. I feel lighter, like I finally put down something heavy I'd been carrying. That's exactly what you did. Proud of you, man. Thanks. For everything. For being there through all of this. That's what friends do. Now get some rest. Big week ahead. I finished my pizza, finished my bourbon, and went to bed in my new bedroom with new sheets on a bed that had never been shared with someone who lied to me. I fell asleep easily, deeply, without dreams of betrayal or revenge. Just sleep. Just peace. Just the quiet knowledge that I had survived, adapted, and come out stronger on the other side.